It came out of nowhere, heavy, violent, the kind of rain that turned a long stretch of highway into a shimmering silver blur. Victoria Hale, a renowned and respected judge noted for her implacable courtroom calm, white-knuckled the wheel of her red SUV as the vehicle slid fractionally on the slick asphalt. When the wobble intensified, she pulled onto the shoulder and stepped out into the storm. One look said it all. A flat tire, completely deflated, hissing out the last of its air under the pounding rain. Victoria brushed soaked strands of hair from her face, her breathing uneven, as she peered down the deserted forest road. Miles of nothing stretched before her. No cars, no phone signal, no help. Just her, the storm, and a tire she had no strength left to fight. She fetched the spare from the trunk and knelt beside the wheel, but the bolts would not budge. Her designer heels slipped in the mud, her numb hands failed her, and frustration stung her eyes until tears mingled with the rain. She had battled harder storms in the courtroom, the cases that were heavier in heartbreak, desperation, and choices impossible to make. Yet here, along a desolate highway, she felt utterly at the mercy of events. Thunder boomed overhead as she exhaled a shaky breath. She'd left the city hours earlier, hoping the long drive would clear her mind after a morning of painful rulings, one involving a struggling single father accused of neglect. Victoria had processed hundreds of cases like his pleading parents, promises of change, and tears that begged for mercy that the law could not give. Justice didn't bend for emotion, or so she always told herself. Then headlights pierced through the sheets of rain. A beat-up, old pickup truck slowed behind her SUV and rolled to a stop. A man stepped out, jacket soaked, boots worn, but his face carried a calm, resilient strength, like someone life had pushed hard but never managed to break. "Need a hand, ma'am," he called out steady, voiced from amidst the storm. "Before this story unfolds, take a moment to show that kindness still matters. If you believe in the power of second chances, compassion, and humanity, even on the darkest night, then like, comment, share, and subscribe to Real Kindness Stories. And let us know in the comments, where are you watching from today?" Victoria hesitated, not sure about trusting a stranger in the rain, but something in his tone, always warm and so genuine, made her nod. "Yes, please," she said, stepping aside. "The tire's stuck. I can't loosen it." The man made a faint smile. "Let me take a look." He crouched by the wheel, working with hands that were steady and sure. "I am Noah Briggs," he said, not looking up. "Lucky for you, I carry my own wrench. These factory ones might as well be decorations." Victoria watched him closely. His clothes were simple, his truck old, but every movement he made was informed by quiet integrity, measured, deliberative, respectful. The tire was changed within minutes. Noah straightened, swiping rain off his face, then nodded reassuringly in her direction. "You're good to go. Try not to drive too fast out there. The roads get slick this time of year." Victoria exhaled, relief washing over her like warmth in the cold storm. "Thanks," she said softly. "You just saved me from a very, very long walk." He shrugged indifferently. "No trouble at all. I'm used to fixing things. My little girl says I can fix everything, except pancakes," he added with a small chuckle. That did manage to tug an unexpected smile from Victoria. "You have a daughter?" "Yeah," he said, eyes lighting up. "Maya, 7 years old, smart as a whip. She's my world." Something in Victoria's chest constricted. "You must be a good father." Noah's smile faltered. Just a flicker. "I try," he murmured. "But sometimes, trying doesn't seem to be enough." There was pain behind those words, pain she recognized far too well. But before she could ask more, Noah lifted a hand in a polite wave. "Take care, ma'am. Stay safe out here." With that, he hauled himself back into his truck and drove off, its taillights fading into the storm. Victoria was very still in the rain, her head whirling. His name rang a bell in her mind, pulling on some faraway familiarity that she couldn't quite place. Everything finally clicked into place the next morning when she stepped into her courtroom and looked up. Standing before her bench was Noah Briggs, the man who helped her in the storm, and he was the father in the custody case that she had been assigned to judge. The shock hit Victoria like a bolt of lightning. The instant she looked up from the bench and saw Noah Briggs standing before her, her heart sank. She looked down at the file on her desk, the one she had studied earlier that morning. The reports were harsh. A social worker's notes described missed school meetings, long work hours, low income, unstable childcare. On paper, Noah looked like just another struggling parent, barely keeping life from falling apart. But the papers didn't show the man she had met in the storm. For example, the man kneeling in freezing rain helping a stranger change a tire. Not for some, thank you. This is the man whose eyes light up when talking about his daughter. No, he stood before her courtroom, hands clasped nervously, wearing that same scuffed-up jacket, exhaustion etching every feature. Yet when he spoke, his voice was low and strong. Your Honor, I am doing everything I can for my daughter. I work 2 jobs. I make sure she is fed, safe, cared for. I am not perfect, but I will never stop fighting for her. Victoria listened, her pulse tightening for the first time in a long while. She didn't just hear a defendant. She heard a father, one who loved hard, one who showed up even when the world pushed him down. An image of Noah in the rain began to play in her mind, and one realization came upon another. Sometimes, the law exhibited only the skeleton of a tale. Humanity filled in the rest. She spoke with measured but gentle authority after rereading the documents, one last time. Mr. Briggs, while the court acknowledges the concerns raised, it also recognizes the immense effort you have made to provide a stable, loving environment for your daughter. Therefore, this case is dismissed, under the condition that you participate in the county's family support program. Noah froze, then his eyes shimmered, and incredulity broke into overwhelming relief. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you so much, he whispered, his voice shaking. Victoria nodded, her own throat tightening. Take care of her, Mr. Briggs. She's lucky to have a father who tries as hard as you do. He strode out of the courtroom, emitting gratitude like warm light after a storm. Victoria sat for long moments after he was gone, her mind heavy and yet irrationally buoyant. She realized that fate had not brought them together by chance. Driving home that night, under a sky that had been scrubbed clean by rain, she replayed everything. The reports, the storm, the roadside moment that changed the way she saw him. Noah Briggs was not a failing parent. He was a good man fighting an uphill battle. And for the first time in her career, she wondered how many people she had judged by paperwork alone, never seeing the person behind such struggles. A week later, Noah received a letter in his mailbox. When he saw the name on the envelope, Judge Victoria Hale, his heart skipped. He unfolded the note and read at his small kitchen table, Dear Noah, that day, in the rain, when you helped me, it reminded me that true character shows up when no one is watching. You reminded me that the law of kindness is one the world should never forget. Enclosed is the contact information for a community job program. Hope it opens doors for you and Maya. Victoria. Noah stared at the letter, his tears blurring the ink. His daughter tugged at his sleeve, her small voice breaking the silence. Daddy, why are you crying? He pulled her into a tight hug, smiling through the tears. Because, sweetheart, somebody upstairs decided to give us another chance. From that very moment, life began to change. Through the job program, Noah landed steady work at a local repair center. The constant pressure of overdue bills slowly eased. He was no longer afraid of the end of the month. Evenings became blissful moments, like messy pancake nights, where Maya burnt every batch, and Noah kept telling her they were perfect. Sometimes on days when rain patted gently against their window, Noah would pause, stare outside, and smile. Remembering the stormy night, a small act of kindness proved to be a turning point he never expected. Goodness, he thought, always circles back.